My name is Miss Melissa, and I am a teaching artist in the PACE program. You might be watching this in your classroom, or you might be watching this at home. But no matter where you are, we are going to have lots of fun today. In your math class, you have learned about number bonds, and you will be learning about the place value of 10. So I thought we can make a color wheel today in art by mixing colors together, because I think it is a lot like number bonds. And I could even show you how it could help you add numbers together. Did you know that a color wheel is a lot like a rainbow? It is. Did you know that mixing yellow and blue together will make green? It does. These are some of the things you will be learning today. So before we start, I want to show you a thing or two about numbers and colors. After that, then I'll show you how to make your color wheel. All right, so you are looking at an example of a number bond where 1 plus 1 gives you 2. So the big number represents the sum of the two parts. Let's do one more together. What about 8 plus 1? These are pretty easy, right? So if we add 8 plus 1, we will get 9. All right, so now you are going to be learning about, if you haven't already, the place value of 10. Now, we could add, I'm going to show you one example of that. We could still add numbers together with the place value of 10 in this number bond. For example, let's pretend that somebody gave me 70 apples, okay? So I'm going to write 70. And then they gave me 5 more apples. So now I'm going to put 5. What happens if I add 70 and 5 together? I will get 75 apples. Now, I want to show you a neat little trick. What if I had 75 apples? So I'm going to erase this, okay? What if I had 75 apples and I wanted to know what number was in the 10th place, right? It would be 7. And I would have 70 here. See? And the 5, because this is the 10th place, this is the 1's place. The 5 would be in the 1's place. So this is the place value of 10. Right here, it's 70. So this is kind of neat. I like number bonds because not only are you adding numbers together, you could even see the place value of 10, right? And so now I'm going to show you how this relates to color. Okay, so if you notice, I have a picture of a color wheel. Well, you can see all the colors. This is actually a color wheel, and I kept the example of the number bond just so you can see the relationship of the two. So let's focus on this right now. If you notice, there are some circles here, and these circles I actually drew on this chart so you can see they're darker, right? And it makes the shape of a triangle. So let's go over these colors together. Yellow, you could say it with me, yellow, blue, and red. And then back up to yellow. Do you see? These are 3 very important colors on the color wheel. They are called the primary colors because the primary colors have a special role. Do you know what they do? They make all the other colors on the color wheel. Did you know that? these three colors are responsible for making all the others. And you know how to do that? We are going to mix colors together. So for example, if I give you yellow and blue crayons and we mix them together, what color are we going to get right here? Green, okay? Kind of like the number bond, right? You have two small parts and you add them together and you get the sum, right? The whole, right? So let's move along. So let's say, now you do have to mix the primary colors together. So we already mixed in our mind, right? Use your imagination. Yellow and blue. Now let's pretend that we're going to take the blue and we're going to move over and we're going to mix the blue and the red together. And what would we end up with? Kind of like blue plus red equals purple. Very good. Now let's move along. Let's pretend that we're mixing these two. So next to red, we have yellow, right? Just like our number bond, we're going to mix these two together and we will get orange. Do you see the similarities between the two? I think the circles definitely help, right? Well, I don't know about you, but I am ready to make a color wheel. So let me show you the supplies that you will need for today to make your color wheel. You are going to need one white sheet of paper, one pencil, one pair of scissors, and you will also need your box of crayons. So you need to make sure though that in that box of crayons you have three colors. And I know you can probably guess what those colors are. They are the primary colors. So make sure you have one red, one yellow, and one blue. And it could be any shade of red. See? You could have, you know, the normal red and the magenta, yellow, and you could have any shade of blue. The turquoise or the normal shade of blue. So now that you have all of your supplies, we can start making our color wheel. So let's start first with your white paper. What I want you to do is fold it in half, okay? The corners are going to touch and the sides are going to touch. And you're just going to press it just like that, okay? Now, if you folded it this way and it ended up looking like a big hot dog bun, open it back up and fold it the opposite direction. We don't want hot dog buns today. No big giant hot dog buns. So I want you to make maybe like a mini book, okay? Fold it in half. This is how I want you to fold your paper. Now, this is the most important thing. Before we can make a circle, I need to show you where you're going to mark your paper. So, now, as you can see, on this side, my paper has open pages. And then here we have the crease or the fold, right? That is where we're going to draw, not on the open pages. So with your pencil, just so you can show me where your crease is, I want you to put a dot right in the middle on the crease. And when I say crease, it has to be a fold, okay? All right, so let's do that together. We're going to do this together. You're going to copy off of me. We need to make a wheel, a circle, so we can make this color wheel today. This is what your project's going to look like, sort of, okay? All right, so now that you've found your center on the fold, what I want you to do is put a dot in the middle of your paper. Now, I'm going to use I'm going to use a marker so you can see. I want you to use your pencil. And I would like for you to pretend you're going to draw the border of a rainbow. Have you ever seen a rainbow in the sky and it makes like a big curve? That's what we're going to pretend to draw. And maybe we can, draw some little pieces of grass. But I want the grass to come about, not all the way to the end, but maybe draw some little, little stubs of grass right here on this side. And we don't want it to touch the end of our paper, so just a little bit from the edge. Maybe put some little pieces of grass right here on this side. So far you should have one dot where you think the middle of your paper is, right? You should have some little pieces of grass on the bottom folds, a little bit away from the side, right? And I already told you to put your dot in the beginning on the fold. Now watch what we're going to do. We're going to draw the rainbow from the grass all the way up to our dot and back down to the grass again. Do you see that? And I'm drawing with my marker. You're going to draw with a pencil. Now, if we were to keep going, we would make a rainbow, right? But we're just pretending to make the border of a rainbow. The border, which is the outside. So you're going to go from one piece of grass up to the dot, all the way back down to the other piece of grass. All right? And as long as you put your dot on the fold, we are doing it correct. Now watch what happens. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to keep your paper like this, and I'm going to want you to cut. And maybe you can go a little bit in. I have a marker, so I don't want to, I could see mine very easily. You're going to cut along your line, your border of the rainbow. And when you use your scissors, make sure you put your thumb in the small hole, your fingers in the bottom hole, and open the scissors very wide and take your time and just cut. Now watch what happens. When we open this, we get a circle, right? A perfect circle. Who would have thought we would get a circle from just the border of a rainbow? Now, I used a marker. You used a pencil. You could always erase the little marks that you have, but I can't, so I'm just going to trim mine. Okay, because I have a marker. I'm going to take this part out. I want it to be a solid white circle. All right? So go ahead and finish cutting out the border of your rainbow, and if you did it correctly, you should get a circle. Once we have the circle, then we could actually start making the color wheel. Very good. And you can just throw your scrap paper away whenever you get a chance. All right, so now that we have cut out the circle, we're going to make some lines on our circle so we can put the colors in the right place for our color wheel. And if you look above, it's going to look something like this. So keep in mind, you can pause the video if you ever need to catch up if I'm going too fast. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is you're going to put your pencil in the center of your paper, and I want you to draw a straight line going down, just halfway from the middle going down. Okay, and next what I want you to do is make a giant letter V. Watch. We're going to try to divide this into 3 equal parts. Now my letter V is very, very wide. Did you notice that? It's very wide. You want to make it really big so we can have 3 equal parts. And we're using our pencil. And then what you're going to do is draw a line, a straight line in between each of those parts. So here's the V. I'm going to draw a straight line here. And then I'm going to, this big space, I'm going to draw a straight line in the middle. So now we should have 6 triangles, kind of like a pizza. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see that? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if you have a bigger piece of pizza than another piece. That's fine. Now I'm going to use a marker so you can see the lines a lot better. Just make sure you have 6 spaces and it looks like a pizza. All right? Now, once you get your 6 spaces, we're going to label it. All right, ready? And we're going to try to follow this one up here. Let's put a Y here because we're going to use the primary color of yellow. We're going to make green, so I want you to put a G right next to the Y. Right below green, we have blue, so we're going to put a B because blue starts with letter B. Right next to blue, we have purple, so let's put a P. Right next to the purple, we have a red. Let's put a red. And right next to the red, we have an orange, so we're going to put an orange. Keep in mind, you can pause the video at any time. All right. Now, what I want you to do is we're actually going to start making our color wheel by mixing colors. Now we need crayons for the rest of the time. One of the primary colors, if you remember, was yellow. Let's go over the primary colors again. Ready? Yellow, blue, and red. So we're going to use yellow, blue, and red for your crayons today. So go ahead and take out your yellow. What I want you to do is just color in the section that has a Y. We're going to color it yellow. We're going to do this together. Just copy off of me. Okay? Now, I'm going to move on this side. Do you see how there's an O, which is for orange, and an R, which is for red? Let's go ahead and color in the part that says R. Because remember, we are going to mix these 2 colors together to make orange. So let's put them down on our paper. So I'm filling in the whole section where it says R. R is for red and Y is for yellow. All right, now let's look over here. Pretend we take, and you can keep coloring while I explain this. This is kind of like a number bond, right? Except to have colors. So what happens when you have red and yellow? You add those together and you will get orange. Same thing. Red and yellow gets orange. So why don't we do it together? Now this is where I want you to be in total control of your arm and the amount of pressure you're applying. So watch. You have to pretend to like barely touch your paper, right? You have to be very soft. Kind of like if you were going to pet an animal, like a bunny or a kitten or some animal that had, you know, real soft fur. You want it to be gentle, kind of like that. I want you to have some control. And you know what? Let me go ahead and glue. I'm going to glue my paper down. That way, I do not want you to glue yours. I'm gluing mine down. Just give me a second because it keeps moving. There we go. I don't want it to keep moving. Okay, so you're in charge. You're in charge of how much pressure you add, right? You want to add the red very, very lightly. Now we're gonna go back and add the what? Yellow, because red and yellow make orange. And I'm gonna add the yellow pretty lightly too. We're gonna keep adding layers. I'm gonna go back over it. A little bit on it. So now I'm going over it again, and I'm still coloring light. Remember, the amount of pressure you apply is going to be very soft. And I compare that to, and you know, if you were going to pet an animal, you want it to be gentle, right? So now you can see I am starting to get a light shade of orange. So you just keep adding the red and yellow. And you have to press a little bit soft, and then you can kind of start maybe pressing a little bit harder. And then the last, and you just keep going over and over. Now I'm pressing really hard for the yellow, and it kind of looks a little orange. Pretty cool, huh? So you're building soft layers, right? Little bit of light red, and you get light red when you press soft. So light red, light yellow, light red, light yellow. As you keep adding all these layers of color, eventually it's going to turn orange, right? Let's try another one. And you can even darken this in if you want. So let's move along. So now we already colored in yellow. And let's go to our next primary color. Let's go ahead and color in blue. Now you don't have to press soft whenever you're coloring the primary colors. So fill in the area that has B for blue. Now if you noticed, I'm only coloring this one time. Are we gonna have to mix yellow and blue many times to get that green? Yes. Because we're going to have to color very softly several times. Because if you color too hard, then it could mess up. So watch. Let's start with your blue. Remember, watch, I'm going to show you. Let's look at our little picture here. Ready? Blue plus yellow mixed together gives us green. Blue plus yellow will give us green. So let's try it. I'm going to add some blue, and look at how light it is. It is light because I'm pressing what? Very good. I'm pressing soft, not hard. All right, now I'm going to go back on top with the yellow. Look at that. The yellow, it's a light color in general, so you know you don't have to press as soft. Let me go back on top. It's already starting to look green. You'll get better at this too. This is going to be my last shade of blue. I'm still pressing light for the blue, but I might do like I might press maybe, you know, medium light, and then now I'm going to press medium to hard. Look at that. So your last step, you press harder. So we just made green. And if you think it looks too, you know, if I need more blue, you can add more blue if it has too much yellow. You can really make the shade that you want, but you have to start off light because you're in control. All right, next we are going to make purple. And you can finish coloring while I show you this. How do we make purple? Well, we're going to move down to the blue and mix red, right? So let's see. Look at this picture. It kind of reminds us of our number bonds, right? Red plus blue will give you purple. Let's try it. Let's start with the red. And remember, are you going to press hard or soft? Yes, very good. For your first coat or layer, you're going to press soft. We have to mix the blue, right? So let's do it. Same thing with the blue. You have to press soft. And then after we do it a couple times, then you'll see your color. So it takes time to mix colors with crayons. Oh, I can kind of see it already. And it doesn't matter what shade you have. You can use turquoise, magenta. I've done it both ways. I can already see the purple a little bit. Now I'm going back on top with red. I'm pressing light or soft, but I might be, the second coat around I always do, you know, I apply the pressure of it being a little soft medium because we're filling it in. So same thing with the blue. I'm gonna press soft, but I'm gonna add a little bit more pressure to where it looks, it kind of, you know, it's like a medium, not too hard, not too soft. I think I'm gonna need one more coat. Now I'm gonna press a little bit harder, kind of a medium hard for my last layer. I think the purple's always the hardest to make. If you're using a magenta, which is that pinkish purplish red, that one's always easier. But it's starting to come out. I'm gonna have to keep filling in. So yeah, I like to think of mixing colors where you add two colors together. I always think of number bonds. So I hope that you enjoyed learning something new and that you liked mixing colors with me. I'm going to keep working on mine a little bit. I think it's coming out pretty good. So you're going to have your own shades of orange, green, and purple. And do you know what orange, green, and purple are called? They are called secondary colors. The red, yellow, and blue are primary colors, whereas the orange, green, and purple are secondary colors. Thanks for joining me today. We learned about so many things. We learned that the purpose of a number bond is to help us add two numbers together to make a bigger number. And we even noticed this with numbers that have a place value of 10. We learned about primary colors too. Do you remember what the three primary colors are? Red, yellow, and blue. If you were thinking that, very good. The three primary colors are what? Let's say it together. Red, yellow, and blue. Very good. We even learned how to make orange, green, and, you guessed it, purple with crayons while using a lot of self-control. And we even used our imagination to draw an outline of a rainbow. But most importantly, I hope you noticed how mixing colors can be just like adding numbers. I think you did a great job making your color wheel today. And as you go through your week, I hope you think about mixing colors whenever you're adding numbers. Maybe you can try mixing more colors at home. You can try this with crayons, Play-Doh, or even paint. But please ask permission from an adult if you do so. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you again soon. Have a great day.